Dude,
So,
I'm ready to kick it off. Go ahead and just, I guess, give a short introduction of how you got into, I guess, the digital marketing space. Give it a little overview of Eyefuel PR, which is like, I'm assuming your main business right now, aside from the startup on the side with the phone, just because that's in like prototype stage right now. Um,
yeah.
and then kind of just give an overview of who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
All right. So I guess background-wise, what we could do is we could say my background is actually in music. Many years ago, I owned a recording studio. I used to throw concerts. Kind of always been an entrepreneur in some form or fashion my entire life, except for like in high school. You know, you had the job at McDonald's and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But once I realized that, I could be the person who ran the business rather than the person working in the business, I kind of was like, I think I like that better. And it definitely works out better for my personality profile and just who I am as a person, the way I think. So I actually learned digital marketing probably back in the MySpace days.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like my business partner Jason and I have been doing some type of social media marketing even before we were business partners since probably 2001.
Dang, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, so quite a long time, but I have to say it was never really.
At its peak
Uh,
of importance.
yeah, it wasn't there, and then it also wasn't like our focus, like because he was another one too, like from the music side.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of like, how do I get my music out there? And I was like, I know, I'll figure out how to use MySpace and whatever else was available at the time.
Yeah.
So digital marketing became sort of just an avenue to push the music that either we were creating or the people we were working with, their music, to people. Same way you would do it now, except like you said back then, the importance was a lot less because record labels were still kind of like, you're just going to buy albums.
Yeah, exactly. That was the big thing was record labels.
Yeah, so I have to say digital marketing for me actually wasn't the initial goal. It just became sort of an avenue to um, distribute what we were promoting, the music.
Yeah.
And here's I guess a tiny tip that probably a lot of people who would listen to this would even know, but people in music are broke.
Right?
So
Starving artists.
So essentially, this is what happened: is in 2013, I was throwing a lot of concerts then, and I had one that went really, really bad. Just there was some bad scheduling conflicts with other concerts and just other things. Just things happened, and I lost like 40,000 in one night.
God damn.
And then a week later, my studio had a leak, and there was a flood, and I lost like 40,000 in equipment. So not a great
Jesus. Yeah.
and you know what? It all kind of fell back to one thing as to how to answer the question directly of digital marketing and how I got into it. As long as I had a laptop, I could always do the digital marketing. As long as I had a computer, I could get on there and make money. And I realized as well in the process as I started doing more of the social media and or digital marketing in general,
Mm-hmm.
that again, going back to the music side, the artists would always say crazy things like, promote this, I'll pay you next week. And
Ah.
businesses would say, I'll pay you now, then you do the work. And I'm like,
Yeah.
aha, I like that a lot better. It seems to work out better for me. Plus, it gives me the chance to actually do the work. And then they're like, hey, it's great. Let me pay you again.
Yeah.
Totally different mindset. Businesses have money. And again, as we said, artists, unfortunately, don't have much. So they're kind of trying to balance all these different things and never actually able to pay for a lot of what they want, which is always funny because then the guy's in the booth rapping about how he's got stacks.
Yeah. He's actually broke as shit. What was
Where those at?
at your highlight of that music promotion? What were you pulling in? Because it sounds like you were like a really well known, I guess, promoter in your area. If one of your shows was at least 40, you must have been doing consecutively like 30, 20, 40s, all those like mid range sums of fucking concerts and stuff.
We did some pretty decent ones. A lot of people in New York will know of Amazon Concert Hall. It's based in Queens. It's a pretty big place. It holds up to like 5,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school for music, one of my classmates actually was really good friends with the owner. And the moment I walked in the place, I was like, we're throwing events here. So we had a couple, I think between 2011 and 2013 was really like the 2.5 years approximately where we did a lot of concerts. We had some that were good, and yeah, some that made some money, and then others like that one which didn't.
Yeah.
We worked with Joel Santana, we worked with Lil Bow Wow, Chanel West Coast, a couple other big people back then.
Lil Bow Wow, that's
some of them are
crazy.
still, yeah, some of them are still doing some things. Some of them now are like, I don't even know if anyone listens to Joel's anymore.
Right. Yeah, music's one of those industries that's so fast paced, and it's just like you have to be up on the trending, especially now. People are talking about with since music streaming became a serious thing, things like Spotify, you get paid for the entire amount of the song play through. So that's why Lil Nas X was one of the top and most shortest songs ever to reach, I think, the top 100 in the billboards and stay there consecutively for super long. So songs are getting extremely shorter because our attention span is just getting shorter, and artists are exactly trying to get paid more because they don't make the same type of income that most people are usually striving for. So as many playthroughs as possible is their goal. So shorter songs and stuff. But so like in throwing an event, because I'm actually interested in doing that for not specifically music, but like for sneakers, streetwear, and fashion. It's really big in New York and New Jersey, but it's not huge here in DC. What was, I guess, because now you got my interest like super peaked. What is the most difficult part of, I guess, aligning a event like that? Was it getting tickets, making sure people attended? Was it, coordinating all like the food and the user experience, or was it solidifying the venue?
Well, I think to answer the question, I'm going to almost pose it in an illustration that when you throw a concert or an event, essentially what you're doing is you're throwing sort of a 6-month version of a business together. Because so think of like if you're an entrepreneur and you start a company, not me, but many, their goal is to just exit, right? They're like, I'm going to start this company, and in 3 years, I'm going to sell it to Samsung or somebody or whatever, and I'm going to get out. And that's like their goal. So think of like a concert or most events, like you book things, you plan, and you execute, and the night of the concert, you're exiting the company, right? So it's like a very truncated version of creating a business. So I think the hardest part of throwing and I'm answering directly from a concert, but I think some events in general, it's kind of the same thing. Like you get your ticket sales, the night happens, it's over. Is the idea of it's not like most things you would do where it is you're kind of cramming that whole business spectrum in let's say a 6-month period or whatever the time frame is.
Yeah.
So the answer directly is it's the most difficult thing is that you have so many moving parts that all culminate from it's like a start to finish company in 6 months. Like it's very hard. Like if let's say we were starting even a digital marketing agency, you wouldn't be like, all right, in 6 months the company's going to be done. It'd be like that means we have to start and get everything finished in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So the actual direct answer is that there's so much to do that you better be a really good planner. You better have good scheduling and a good team that can execute. But I would say if I had to pick just one thing of all, it's the ticket sales.
Yeah.
You got to be really good at sales, or again, have a good team at sales and a good marketing. Because if you can obviously get people to buy the tickets, then when you exit the company, you'll be happy. If you don't get them to buy the tickets when you exit that company, you'll be sad.
What was the biggest avenue for recruiting ticket sales in your current, I guess, like the peak of your music career? You said you were utilizing MySpace a little bit, but was it mostly like, were you going to like small pop-up music venues? Like in my area, we have things like the 8x10 and small clubs that are really localized to like small jam bands. Were you just going in there and like hustling on the ground, or were you like on MySpace trying to message as many people as possible?
We did a little bit of both. It depends on we had different people in the company as well that kind of took on some of these things. So we had people that were handing out flyers and doing ticketing in like New York City, in different areas that we knew where people listened to this genre of music, depending on what we were throwing. We obviously did a lot online, MySpace, Instagram had just started kind of coming up around that time. I think like 2010 was Instagram was here, but it wasn't really.
No one even knew of its importance or weight.
Yeah, but we did use as much as we could on social media. We did do some hand-to-hand ticket sales. Some of those would be with people we knew, but as well, yeah, like we had some of the people on the team would go out to different things, like could be pop-ups or different events, and just kind of pitch to everyone they'd meet, like, hey, we're doing this thing, come out, spend your money with us.
Yeah, right. In New York, I'll say that about New York and New Jersey, since they're so closely located to each other that they're so dense with culture. I feel like it's so easy to find a sub niche of a sub niche of a sub niche. So even if you have the most outlandish artist performing, there's going to be a small secular group of people that are willing to come and show support and like check out this new wave of artistry, whether it be through music or like actual painting and whatever this artist is bringing to the table. I feel like there's always a small group that's interested to see what's coming.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's probably, you nailed it for up here in this area. There is kind of like, there's always somebody that's like, hey, we like this. So it's almost like if you can identify that ahead of time, like what type of group that is, then you can sort of book for them. And then it's like, if you know who they are, then it's like, all right, now let's just go find those same people we identify. So it's kind of like when you're, starting a company, you're always looking to identify your customer profile.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you don't know your customer profile, you're kind of just throwing darts at a dartboard.
Yeah. Hoping shit sticks to a wall.
Yeah. So as long as you can do that, then yeah, you can always find up here, like, oh, let's go find some crazy artists. We even had some, we never booked some of them, but at the time we were thinking about booking some artists that were like really obscure, just because we had like a lot of people that had asked us for someone, and we're like, who the heck is that? Yeah. We go look them up, and we're like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, screamo Christian rock. I mean, I'm not against.
Yeah, we're like, if you guys want to come out for something like that, we'll figure it out. Of course, sometimes the artist would ask for obscene amounts of money, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, come on, bro. You know what you're worth. You know what you're worth.
Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely specifically speaking, going back into the digital marketing and kind of what we were originally discussing, is the idea that a lot of this led to the fact of understanding, if you can master digital marketing, you essentially can run any business you want.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, without digital marketing, almost every business will fail unless they're like a mainstay in the community. Like, like for instance, you could have like a restaurant or something that maybe doesn't know anything about digital marketing and still does okay.
Yeah.
But they'll probably do much better if they do embrace digital marketing.
Yeah, with Yelp reviews, Angie's List, all those other types of review-based things, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to a restaurant that gets like below 3 stars on like Google when I look it up on the maps. And then I'll go and read the negative reviews, just because the last thing I want to do is to go there and have a terrible experience when I could have known ahead of time that, hey, this place isn't probably that good.
Absolutely. No, it's true. So again, kind of encompassing the idea of, throughout all this, we realized like the only time we ever won was because we did good with our digital marketing for the most part. Again, there was some, face-to-face or foot traffic type of things we did do as well, just because you kind of still have to encompass that for sure. But I mean, the majority of everything we did was digital, whether it was bringing people into my studio or whether it was for these concerts or anything of that nature. And again, it all came down to the fact that, businesses just started saying like, yeah, I'll pay you like $1,000 if you do that. And I'm like, I haven't even done it yet. Like, I love you guys. Like, everything in music is like, you get money later, maybe.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to go chase it down.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, oh, well, I don't have it. He's got it. And before you know it, you're like, man, it's not even worth chasing this. And you just give up, and you're like, you know what? Where's that business that wanted to give me money before I did anything?
Right. So what was the...
You're like, hey, just sign up more businesses. And that brings us to, digital marketing as a whole, and why music is kind of on the back burner.
Right. So that was your transitionary period. You were understanding that, hey, like income is actually put up front with specific businesses as opposed to music artists and stuff. So now you're beginning Eyefuel PR. What was your goal for that? Just to do exactly what you were doing for the artists, except to promote businesses, products, and services in the New Jersey area and worldwide through marketing and stuff? Or what was your kind of plan to attack?
To be totally honest, and this is going to sound kind of crazy again, Eyefuel PR wasn't actually created on purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we started doing let's take it back shortly. So I was working with a company named Comicore that made a smartphone that floats in water. I was hired to do their digital marketing initially. And I started working with them to the point where I got very much involved with the company because I really liked the product and actually helped them raise funding. In the process, because I was doing their digital marketing and I started getting pretty good with Instagram, basically what happened was we put together some work from my wife's account, and then people just started asking us if we could do it. They're like, can you grow my account? Can you grow my friend's account? And it was like,
Yeah,
Remaining?
sure.
Yeah. Like, how much? And it kind of just evolved to where it was like, okay, this works well. And of course, probably, I'm sure some people listening to your podcast know all about the bot days where,
Yeah.
you follow and all that good stuff. And it became to the point where I was just like, I don't want to do it anymore. There's ways to automate it. There's ways to outsource it, right? So eventually that just kind of happened. And Eyefuel PR evolved because basically when I was going to set up this website, which one of your business partners, Caesar, was like, you should make a website. I was like, all right, we should do it. And we set it up, and I essentially called my now business partner who owns Eyefuel.com, which is a company that's been established here in New York for, I think, over 12 years or 13 years now, that does like physical marketing, branding. They work with a ton of huge companies. I was like, hey, I just need your feedback on a couple of names I'm thinking about because I'm not the branding guy. You're the branding guy. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I shot him some names, and he wrote me back and was like, this one's cool, this one's not, whatever. He's like, but you know what? I have a better idea. He's like, I don't do digital marketing. We should just merge our companies. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea.
He said, yes, please. High-level profile accounts coming my way, for sure.
Absolutely. So that worked out really well. And the reason why I say we literally didn't build this on purpose is because again, a lot of your listeners may not know, but you know a little bit about, and we can go into at some point, is for almost 3.5 years since I left the other phone company, I've been working on the phone project and bringing that to market. And that's my like dream project, because that's, to me, is like, it's digital marketing done in a way where there is no such thing as split testing anymore. There is no such thing as guessing. There is just, this is your audience. It's guaranteed every time. We know everything there is to know. And therefore, when we make a decision to execute something to them, it's a guarantee, which means the person's ROI is a guarantee, and the person who's being targeted has a guarantee of transparency of who's targeting them. So for me, that's my dream project. So Eyefuel PR was never almost supposed to happen. It just kind of happened, which is actually funny because we were discussing yesterday. One day when we're, I don't know when it will be exactly because it's hard to put a timestamp on it, but we're probably going to have to put together a little documentary about like how we built a digital marketing agency on accident.
The fluke of digital marketing. You'd be like, oh, it just fell into my lap and happened.
And crazy thing, it almost has. Like, even though, we only launched the website a couple months ago.
Yeah.
We did the internal SEO. We did one round of offsite SEO. We haven't really done any type of marketing. We've spent literally $0 in marketing, except for, I think in the beginning we spent like $100 on Facebook ads before Facebook was like, you can't market this. And then we were like, all right, we'll stop. And we haven't marketed it since. And we just crossed 30K in revenue this month.
Hey, let's go. Congrats, man. That's awesome. What are we on, day 8 of the month?
Yeah, so it's like, last 30 days.
Gotcha.
But still, considering, when we first launched this, it was like Instagram was having their big transition. They were like, all right, everyone, no more botting, no more. So we had like a month and a half where I lost money. I was giving money back to everybody to keep them happy.
Yeah,
and
I 100% know that.
Once it hit, since things have sort of stabilized, it's been very interesting. Like, again, we're kind of looking at the numbers and we're like, where is all these people coming from? Like, we're not even marketing this thing. And we've had a ton of people. Every day I open my inbox now, our number one hit on our website now is for verification services.
Yeah, I bet. That's a huge thing that people want to do. Everybody wants that blue check mark just to feel that they're a top influencer. And I can guarantee in any type of influencer marketing, if someone has that blue check, that's going to be a $500 extra charge on your influencer marketing campaign, because it's like, listen, I'm verified. I'm a verified person. People trust me.
You know what's my favorite part about it, though, is when we evaluate their account and we're like, you're not verifiable.
Really?
Even though I want them to pay. It's so funny because they'll be like, oh, I'm like this super huge influencer. Check out all my stuff. And then we like look at it and we're like, you don't have enough press. Or like, you're really not as big as you think you are.
Right. It's like,
needs to improve. It's such an interesting feeling to be like that sort of gatekeeper of like, we'll tell you if you're verifiable, if you're actually an influencer or not.
Yeah, because some people are misconstrued in the sense that they just think because they have all those inflated numbers that they still hold like crazy weight and power in the Instagram realm. But once you get into the back end of their analytics and what people are saying in the comments, you can obviously see that it's like, hey, like your reach is like maybe 1% of your total following.
Yeah, so that's always a very interesting thing that we've been joking about lately. Someone will message us and they got 200,000 followers and they got maybe 10 pieces of press, but their press will be like, your press is all based in India. Like, who did this for you? And they're like, oh well, I found some third party person, and we're like, you probably made it worse for yourself.
Right.
This just looks so fake.
Because that's exactly what happens. I feel like it gets classified by Instagram as well. It's like once you have that fake account and they notice that you've broken community guidelines for a certain extended period of time, they probably put like an immediate shadow ban or a long-term shadow ban where your reach is basically crippled for the rest of the account's life. And you might as well set up like a filter feeding type of process where you attract people with your large one and filter it to your small one. So your small one is growing organically over time, but you can still utilize that big one as your so-called power account to kind of help facilitate growth.
Yeah, I think unfortunately too, a lot of that happened too after the follow thing stopped, because I think a lot of those accounts, as we know, Instagram was tracking, and if someone did it and they bought it up too high on numbers, I would agree. I think a lot of them have, like, when you look at their engagement rates, like organically, you're like, man, they probably are like under 1%. And it's like, that's not good. Like, obviously, the only way that happens is if Instagram is kind of like, yeah, we're not going to show your post.
Right. And so the way the Instagram Explore page works too, it's like they show it to that, they do like batch testing. So they show it to a small group of your followers. And then if they like it and engage with it and it gets a certain like type of ratio, they extend that to your least active followers. And then if that goes well and the ratio is high, and then it gets pushed to the Explore page. So I imagine that like it's because your small group of your first batch is so, I guess, fake, and they don't really respond well to your content. So it's like, even though you have 200K, we're showing it to 10% of that, your close batch people, so 20K, and only like 100 of them enjoy the content or want to play with it or actually sit there and read the caption. So it's like Instagram's obviously going to be like, yeah, we're going to put this down on the back burner and hold your account down for a while.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the worst things in the world at this point, as far as I'm concerned, is buying just straight fake followers, because exactly what you just said, that whole method just kills it. Like, okay, so if they show it to, and it's always, remember, usually, as we know, most people, when do they buy the fake followers? When they first create the account, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't
Day
want
two.
to have 0. They're like, I need to start with at least 5,000 or 2,000, something that looks respectable. Cool. And what happens is, it's like that usually, for some reason, and I think Instagram does it on purpose, they're like, oh, you want fake followers? This is the batch group we're going to show your stuff to. Oh, no one engages? Then we show it to no one else. There you go. That's what you get.
Right. It's the circle of death, I call it. It's not even a circle of life anymore. Instagram's just keeping you in this washing machine of just be like, yeah, keep putting out content. Maybe it'll happen sometime eventually. But I had a specific botted account that I just left alone for a really long time. I don't think I could ever get it back to the reach potential as some of my smaller accounts, where it was doing, I think I have an account that has like 1,900 and it does almost like 5,000 or 6,000 in total reach, as opposed to one that has like, I think it has like 25K and it doesn't even get close to that. It does maybe 700 to 1,000 in reach, even on the same activity basis and the same engagement basis. But it just won't grow. It's impossible. It seems to have like a permanent shadow ban. So I basically just ditched the account and was like, well, this isn't even worth my time anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's they've made it quite hard. I mean, even now, I know they're pretty much coming down on even just sharing your password with people. Like, if you have too many people logging in, they're like, oh man, everyone gets flagged. They're like, oh, log out. We're gonna like ban your account. They scare everybody. It's been an interesting transition. Instagram's obviously evolving in a lot of ways, but in some ways, they have to make a lot of adjustments, because, as we know, there's companies like TikTok that are
coming up.
And yeah, and
what's your hot take on TikTok? Give me your hot take. Are you breaching that at all personally, just for you before you bring in clients? Are you thinking about it? What's your plan for that?
Here's the interesting thing. I actually am not on it, but it's not because I don't know it's staying.
I think your daughter would kill it.
I'm not on it just because at the moment I have so much else on the plate that I'm like, whatever. But here's the thing. I can tell you, not even from like, I know a lot of people probably would say, oh, well, like TikTok, it's exploded in growth. They can come up with a lot of things to talk about. I can tell you why it's going to stay. Here's why. because when it was Musicali and I had it on my phone and I used to think it was a cool thing to create some content with and like share to Instagram or somewhere else. And then they were purchased, and I found out who purchased them, and I looked into the company because I've been to China multiple times. I know the company. Like, I mean, I don't know like the people in it, but
Know
I know
of them.
the company
Yeah.
very well. And I immediately said, this is not Snapchat. This company is backed by a company that has money like Facebook. So they're not leaving. Like, this company is not going to, like, TikTok is not going to be like, oh, well, you know what? We're having some problems. Like, they're like, you know how you fix problems? Here's $1 billion. Go fix it.
Right.
So with regards to the longevity of TikTok, they're coming.
Yeah.
They're not leaving. They're not going to be like, and again, it's not going to be someone that Facebook can be like, we'll buy you. They're like, we might buy you. Shut up.
Because I think they're the Vine was, I feel like, so ahead of its time because people that became super famous Vine stars are still famous in our realm today, but Vine is a dead platform and it never came back. And I think that's where TikTok kind of hits home for a lot of people because it's new to the Gen Z generation, but to millennials and older, it's a copy of Vine with some music background and way better editing. So it's like the perfect short-term video software for your phone to make easy content, really quick, funny, simple, and the organic reach on it is absolutely insane. I don't know time from app starting to when they integrate advertisements, but I feel like TikTok's advertisement platform came on really fast and they got a lot of huge accounts that are willing, like they partnered with NFL for like the next 5 years or something like that to televise highlights, backstage stuff, and a lot of like secret content that you can only find on TikTok. And I think that's because large companies notice the weight that social media has now, so they're trying to be early adopters, and so they're all trying to go after TikTok.
Yeah, no, TikTok. Actually, to touch on TikTok before, it's funny you mentioned the Vine reference because that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's even funnier when you think of social media as a whole. Like, Twitter bought Vine.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Twitter could have done TikTok like
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5. I don't even remember when they bought them. But yeah, exactly. Twitter is such an anomaly because like they were one of the first,
mm-hmm.
and yet they just can't figure it out. It's like we're gonna buy Vine and kill it. It's like, dude, they could have literally said we're gonna buy Vine, make it better, and make it TikTok. Like it might not have been that name, but
it would have been something close.
They could have created it, and it would have been so beneficial for them. Twitter is so weird. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, their leadership is really bad with like their vision. It's just like they don't know what they're doing. They know one thing. They're a content delivery platform with regards to the like news and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like they can't get a grip of anything. Like we're gonna buy a company that, as you mentioned, literally launched so many superstars that would have never left the platform if they just left it open.
Right.
And they went everywhere else and made money on every other platform that could have been in their own. It's so weird. And now I'm sure with TikTok doing what they're doing, the Twitter offices
probably kicking themselves in the ass.
Oh yeah, literally. Like it's so weird. But again, unlike Twitter, which Twitter's a big company, TikTok is backed by billions of dollars. I mean, again, I'm telling you, like as far as companies go, it's the company that owns them. Their revenue, because it's in China, is kind of cloaked. Like it's not as easy to
find. Yeah, they don't have SEC.
Yeah, but just put it like this: they're up there in the 100 billion per year range for sure.
I wouldn't doubt that for a second.
Like, I've seen the building that the company's in. It's friggin' huge. They have multiple ones, so they're like on that level where they are a direct competitor long term to some of these companies like probably Instagram, not Facebook per se, because it's a completely different sort of medium. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of what happened this year with Instagram was trying to clean up in sort of preparation for the fact that they might be fighting a little bit soon. They might. I mean,
Instagram has been on top for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah. So it's coming to the head where there's definitely, I think the reign of like you start a social media company, and Facebook either buys you or puts you out of business because they steal your ideas. That might be coming to a close. There might soon be like, well, you know what? I could always create something in social media if it goes well. Like TikTok might buy me now. So there becomes like a little bit more of like, Oh, well, or, so it's kind of opening up the playing field in some ways of having a company that is as big as TikTok is, as quickly as they are, with as much budget as they can put behind the marketing. And like you said, I mean, I remember, I don't watch TV much at all. I'm not that type of person.
No, I'm not either.
Once in a while, I'll watch like a football game or something, and I remember seeing an advertisement for TikTok, and I was like, wow, these guys are already like on NFL commercials. Like you said, I know they can feel. But it was like immediately, I'm like so much faster than like a Snapchat or any of these other guys were like, oh, like I still don't really see commercials for that. Like,
no, I don't ever see Snapchat commercials.
Yeah, like immediately TikTok is on TV. I'm like, so I said they got that budget. They're not leaving. Like they know, they're like, we can capture this market. And as you said to that with the Vine reference, the perfect concept for this too is they're not even changing the game. They're literally looking at what Vine did and said, we can do that same thing because no one else has done it for whatever reason. And Twitter killed it for whatever reason. And we'll just do it better. And we'll put billions of dollars behind it. That works. Like, if you know it already works and you got the money to scale it,
do it.
Props to them.
Right? And I think the one thing that is super interesting about TikTok, not only do they have an ad platform, not only will they create a type of influencer realm where people are probably getting some type of paid promotion through the TikTok platform, but I also think it's interesting that it becomes a platform for artists. Just going back to music, that's where they can launch a 10, 15-second soundbite, and they'll absolutely blow up based off a hashtag challenge, based off a dance challenge. And that's where they can start introducing Gen Z population as well as kind of later demographics to their music in a fun and exciting way, as opposed to trying to launch it on YouTube, launch it on SoundCloud, launch it on Spotify. They can almost do like test audience pooling for their music on TikTok, as opposed to trying to do like guess and check or like, let's see if this works. I think that's super interesting.
TikTok definitely has a large future. Speaking of social, which is I'm only going to touch on this briefly because it's still kind of semi-proprietary, but the idea with the phone that we're working on, which is really interesting, is if you have a medium that can make enough money that you don't have to do a social platform with ads, so you can have 100% organic reach forever, be a really interesting social platform. So if it's built around a phone that can generate the revenue for you, and everyone who has the phone is part of a social network, and that social network has 100% organic reach forever because we don't need to run ads on it because we're running ads on the phone itself, that becomes a very unique proposition, I think, for probably every influencer on earth.
Right.
That over time, if they say, wait a minute, so if I get on your social platform and I don't ever have to pay for ads, it's just if I get an audience, I get an audience.
And the sky's the limit.
On demand with everything I have. And we say, yeah, why not? Because we don't care. That's not our model. The phone model is completely different. So that's a sort of direct byproduct overall of what we're doing with this, that over time we are integrating a social network into the phones so that essentially we can just say, hey, you bring 1 million followers on and you get 1 million people to sign up for our phones and they all then follow you on our social platform. You can essentially target them anytime you want with whatever you want.
Right.
We're not going to restrict your reach. We're not going to make you pay for ads, none of that. Like, because if you want to pay for ads, you'll pay for it through our main platform to reach them through the phone directly rather than through social.
Yeah, and not only that, you're getting the phone for free. So welcome to a free social media platform and enjoy.
Absolutely. So with respect to that, we're looking at a lot of these things. I mean, I think I was on Instagram like a couple weeks ago, and I forget what Gary Vee posted, but it was like, I mean, influencer after influencer on his post, like, I'm so sick of Instagram killing my organic reach and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everyone hates this stuff, but it's part of the game. So we do see it as this is just another opportunity that if our model takes off the way we would like, if you integrate that into it and you start telling influencers, like, look, you get people to sign up for the phones. They come in. Once they're signed up, we'll just automatically have them follow you on social, our social, and then your social has a 100% organic reach forever. I think that a lot of the big influencers in the world would say, where the heck do I sign up for that?
Yeah, why not?
How else can I get it? Like, so it becomes sort of like, hey, if you have your network, you bring it to us. We won't get in the middle of you and your network. It's you and your network from now on, like a real social network, like it was in MySpace days when
it first started. And the funny thing to that as well, it's like, I think social media platforms lose respect for the value that influencers and the relationships they build on those platforms actually are. Because Instagram hiding likes, reducing organic reach, implementing more advertisements on every piece of content area, IGTV, stories, feed. And I know that they have to make their money, but at the same respect, like these influencers, they bring in so much value. They're bringing people onto the platform. People aren't just going to naturally jump onto a social media platform if their favorite people aren't there and they can't solidify an audience. And I think that's where Instagram and Facebook went kind of sour. They tried to squeeze as much as they could out of the general user as opposed to trying to build a value-based network that would just bring in revenue on its own, exactly what you're trying to start with your phone. You know, everything should be free. It should just be the businesses and the corporations that are trying to utilize the value of the network. Those are the people that should pay, people that are willing to pay to jump in and reach some of that value, not individuals on our end where we're paying with reduced likes, reduced organic reach, and just kind of harder growth metrics and all that stuff that kind of makes us have a jaded and angry sense at Instagram. Because as you said, Instagram influencers nowadays, they're getting kind of mad at it, and they're thinking about switching to other platforms. They're looking at alternate avenues because they understand that social media is a roller coaster. Certain platforms can keep going up and they can come right down really fast, and that's something that I think is just it's weird that it's like that. It's weird that Instagram doesn't place more focus on creating a value-based network around the Instagram influencers that are pulling in probably millions of dollars every single year.
Yep. No, it's I think it comes down to the idea that they value their machine more than the people that built the machine in some ways.
Yeah.
And while I understand they technically built it from a coding perspective, like you said, when Facebook first started, there was a lot of all right, let's break it down to the core value. So Facebook's core value, right, is connecting you with people.
Yep.
So Facebook's core value is the reason you would have a Facebook account is because you're I want to connect with my friend or my uncle or my cousin or someone who I haven't seen in years. Or maybe I want to check out, if you're a weirdo, people who you went to high school with.
Right.
I wonder what they're doing.
You're let me track this X.
Yeah. If you're a stalker, Facebook's perfect for you. So Facebook is a connector. It's just to connect people. Then you have, like I said before, Twitter. Twitter is a news consumption platform, essentially. They're supposed to be content consumption, but as we can say now, they're more news.
Yeah.
Because content, it's there, but people really consume more of...
but our president uses it for updates.
Yeah, written information. And Instagram's original core value was literally the idea that you or I could take a photo and share it on all these other social platforms so quickly. And that was like their core value. Now I think they're more of the content consumption engine. That's their main core value. So the idea is if their core value is content creation and consumption, them not creating, but the people who are on it, as you mentioned, then for them to then restrict the reach of the people who are creating the content that every other user is consuming, to a degree, defeats the purpose.
You just bottlenecked your own machine.
So... Again, while I think they are trying to make tons of pivots to kind of prepare for the TikToks of the world and the other things that are happening, I think that they may be doing more harm than good. And in some ways, based on what we're trying to do with my phone, I'm okay with that.
Right? Make it easier.
But in some ways, it kind of sucks. Because I remember when there was a lot of that organic reach that you could do. If you had to do content, it went.
You just blew up.
To be fair, like you said, if you don't bot your account and you do some other things correctly, you could still get some decent reach, but it's definitely not like it was. And I think the hiding of the likes, I'm not an influencer, so my opinion on it is probably almost moot. But to be fair, I think it was kind of, I don't think it really is beneficial in any way. It's not a positive or a neutral thing. It's almost like a negative in the fact that that's what a lot of these influencers were there for. They were there for those numbers to justify their brand.
Mm-hmm.
And while those numbers, I know you can still see them behind the scenes, so they can still show them. But it's a lot easier for you to screenshot something and Photoshop it and send it to a company and be like, look at my numbers.
Right.
Then before it was a company could just go to your account and be like, oh, yeah, everything you got is 1,000, 2,000 likes, and you're getting 500 comments. Or that's a heck of a lot easier. Which, to be honest, I actually feel like comments are going to be the new wave for Instagram because of that. Because it's going to be like one of the last things that you can justify on a real level, that it's like, I didn't Photoshop the comments on my account. Like,
right?
they're real. In some ways. So I think that we're going to see a big wave with the push for comments and trying to drive that type of an engagement, since the others are going to be
diminished in value.
Yeah, diminished in value. That's a great way to put it. Diminished in value.
Yeah, because so one thing about comments is like that's what everybody should be striving for and pushing for, because not the one thing I love about a comment, people share what they like or dislike about your content, but then you also get like that kind of underlying tone where you can connect with an individual. You can actually start a full-on conversation in the comments. Not only does that help boost your content to higher explore page feeds and etc., but creating that dialogue is a perfect way to strengthen the relationship with your followers and really create a wholesome kind of unique experience for them. Because even though you have 120,000 followers or 1 million followers, Gary Vaynerchuk still goes through every single email, he goes through every single text, he goes through every single comment, and he responds. And that's just a 2-second thing that just makes someone feel a whole lot better. And you can't really reciprocate love from a like or from a share, so it is a little bit easier with comments and stuff. So I think people should drive for those kind of conversations in their content, because that's the whole goal, is to create a conversation with your followers, to show them who you are, show them the value you bring, and then to just strengthen that relationship and to continue to bring them value on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I mean, it's rapport building, right? It's like anything else is not. I mean, someone likes your post, you like theirs. It's like, so what? I mean, again, numbers-wise, it makes sense. It's good for the brand. It's good for the influencer, whatever. But as far as, direct engagement, it's like the equivalent of like someone coming into a retail store and giving them like a thumbs up, or going up and actually talking to them and like saying like, how you doing today? What are you looking for? Is there something I can help you with? Or you know what? Maybe just hope you're having a good day. If there's anything I can help you with, you let me know, type of thing. Like if you can engage with the person and the person knows you're there to help, and that you actually care. And in some ways, in this case, it's like it's the same as like, or here's another way to put it. So if someone's commenting and like every comment back is like, buy my course or something, like you're not building rapport. You're just trying to shove something down their throat. So in the same way, in the retail space, if someone walks in and you're like, how can I help you buy something today? Or like, or
how can I help you spend some money?
Right. It's like, can I bring value to you? Let's see if I can bring value to you today. And if the person says, I'm really interested in X, and you're able to show them why X is a good fit for them, then you brought value to them. Or you may end up having to say, X is really not a good fit for you. Y is. And they're like, wow, now you really brought value because you helped me make a better decision. Or you may end up even having to tell them, there's nothing that we have that can bring you value. You would be better off with so-and-so across the street, which is it's so interesting because a lot of businesses don't understand. But if you actually do that more than sometimes sell, you'd be surprised how many of those people will refer you business.
100%.
They're like, dude, trust me, they'll take care of you, because they'll take care of you to the point where even if they don't have it, they'll find the person who does, or they'll at least tell me it's not them. They'll be honest, and that goes a long way. So in that same way with these comments, it's like if you're able to engage in a way that's rapport building and shows you actually care about them, it incentivizes them and everyone else who sees it to want to engage more with you, knowing that you care about the people who engage with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that respect, being able to drive a customer to somewhere where they will get more value than you can provide them because they're seeking something different is huge, because a lot of companies will try to just be like, no, don't leave here, try this, I'm going to sell you on this, just take it, you're going to love it. And then that customer absolutely hates it, you didn't solve their problem, they feel cheated, and now they're writing terrible reviews about you. And it only takes one bad video, one bad comment to really just take down a lot of the value that you've built thus far. So I agree 100% that driving a customer to a different business, even if you lose out on some general income on the upfront, the long tail and the tail end of that customer being happy, satisfied, and exactly like you said, they're going to be like, listen, even though Eyefuel PR couldn't bring the type of value that I needed, they absolutely gave me a full-length crash course on the businesses that I should go to, should target, and should talk to. And I'm absolutely thankful for them just to even take the time to do that. And that's something that just businesses don't do, because I think they're so caught up in, I need this dollar right now. They're looking short-term as to long-term gains.
Yeah, most people are playing the finite game. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Simon Sinek, but he has a book called The Infinite Game. I haven't read it yet, but I already know a lot of the concepts based on watching some of his things. And it's basically the idea of, are you playing the game for today, or are you playing not necessarily even long term? So his concept of the infinite game is the idea that business is not a game that you win, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Business, the only way you win business is to never go out of business.
Facts.
Which means
it never ends.
Game,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, it never ends. So you either lose by going out of business, or if you are currently in business, you're winning. So in respect to that, it's not like, okay, so if I lose this dollar today, I lost. No, if you're still in business, you're winning. And if you just made that person happy, you're definitely winning, because somewhere along the line, they will tell someone else about you in a good way, because they realize that you will put their values and what they need to help them solve their problems above your money. And that is building your integrity as a company. And at the end of the day, you kind of said it too, is the idea that it takes a lifetime and a long, long time in a company to build that sort of integrity around a brand. But it can take one person and one thing to ruin it. And
you piss off the wrong influencer.
Yeah, so you have to be very careful with this. But again, it shouldn't even be done in the way of like, don't do this because it's not good for my brand. It should be done in the way of, do this because it's good for the person.
Yeah.
And if it's good for them, it will conversely be good for you automatically.
Oh, 100%. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I think a lot more people need to start taking that into effect. So let's jump into. I'm excited to talk about your phone. We're about an hour in, so let's just go ahead. I'm excited. Let's talk about the phone. Tell me as much detail, beginning to end, as you can, without giving away any secrets that you don't want, and we'll just go from there.
For sure, yeah, I have no problem talking about it now, because I've actually sat in front of a lot of people who told me the idea is absolutely insane. So I realized that most people would never steal the idea, because the amount of work that will go into it will make their eyes glaze over, and they'll just go to Netflix binge and say, forget that. And I mean, even this is some people who I've met that have been, someone told me, you should talk to this investor. He's like a really big visionary. To which the investor wrote me back and said, you can't make this much money in 1 year. It's impossible. To which I sent him 30 companies from all over the world that did it in the past 10 years and was like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
If it's already been done, it's definitely not impossible. And even if it hasn't been done, it still isn't impossible. It's just less plausible, right?
Right.
But if it's been done by 30 companies, it's like, to me, that seems quite possible. But anyway, not to talk about the money side of it, just the idea of why I'm very open to talking about it. When I first started this, I was very closed-lipped, and then a lot of my mentors and people I was talking to who were very successful were like, dude, no one's going to steal this from you. They're like, what you're doing, like, even the ones who believe in it are like, there's so much, like, the only people who could steal it, they're $100 billion companies, and they have no reason to steal it because they're $100 billion companies.
Yeah.
I was like, fair enough.
You're not even on the radar yet.
Yeah. So essentially what our model is we are creating a smartphone, which we are in the process of working on our beta now. The smartphone will be a la, I think, like Samsung Galaxy level, very high-end smartphone, Android-based. And it will be essentially 100% free for the user. In year one, we will require a deposit. Basically, what it's going to be is to mitigate our costs.
Mm-hmm.
So once they get the phone, they have a certain amount of months, they'll earn the money back, and then after that, it's pure profit from them going forward. Once they have the phone, in exchange for that phone, what they're doing is they're giving us the data that they're already giving to Google, Amazon, Facebook, and all whatever apps they already have, and we are aggregating it into one place so that clients can essentially target them for mystery shopping, focus groups, consumer experience studies, surveys, marketing, advertising, and sales direct to the consumer, bypassing all applications. So the user, while we won't let them be bombarded with nonsense, first because we're going to make sure that everything that reaches them is extremely on their radar of their interests and very, very targeted, but also there will be limits. So for instance, like sending them coupons, we probably would have a lot less limit for it, because who doesn't like coupons? You can store them for later, you can use them, whatever. But like, we're not going to allow the brands to market to them, 24 hours a day. Like,
yeah, you don't want all those, like, when you open TikTok and you get those in-stream ads as soon as you open the phone, or as soon as you open the thing. That's not what you want. Every time I click my phone open, I got to watch 5 seconds of this in-stream ad right now.
Right. So the way our model is it's actually helping you. It's like Uberizing your life. So ours is the idea that you're out somewhere, let's say Starbucks, and you're going to get a coffee anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically tracking in real time your geolocation and saying, okay, well, this person is in Starbucks right now. We know from their past purchases on their phone that they really like, let's say, a mocha latte. And I never go to Starbucks, so I don't even know if that's a drink.
No, it is. I used to work at one. You're good. You're good.
Cool. And the phone pops up quickly and it says, hey, would you like to answer 3 questions about a mocha latte? If you're going to buy one anyway, we'll pay you. And the person says, okay, so they go and they buy their mocha latte, and this pops up and says, was it served the way you like it? Was the person behind the counter courteous? And what are you in Starbucks for today? Are you there for a business meeting? Is it just casual? Are you on your way to work? Something like that. The person answers these 3 questions, and the phone pops up and says, thank you very much. Have a good day. You just earned $5. Took them 5 minutes. It's $1 a minute, $60 an hour. So the idea is we just monetize that person's life. And who paid for that? Most likely Starbucks.
Yeah.
We want to know that because that was almost like a mystery shop and a survey all in one. On the other hand, they got it from real time from a person that they know actually enjoys that drink. So they didn't get, let's say, me, who I just said I never go into Starbucks really. I think I've been there for meetings and like I'll get a water, which probably makes no
They
sense.
look at you, they're like, really? A water? You're going to be here for 2 hours and you got a water?
That's it. Yeah, that's me. I'm that guy. So, like they wouldn't want my opinion, right? Like if I was in Starbucks, I'm the last person they would want to target. But meanwhile, if you go onto like Craigslist or many of these other places where they have like focus groups, surveys and stuff, that's exactly what happens. Someone says, I'll go into Starbucks today and I will buy that coffee that they're asking me to make $25.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that person's opinion is completely irrelevant and is totally destroying the study to begin with. And there's no way for them to verify that. So our whole model is the idea that if we can provide market research where there is no errors basically because it's always to the proper people at the proper times, and or not necessarily just the times. It could be like, let's say you're reviewing a pair of Nikes at home. It doesn't have to be a time frame, but it's like, we know you just bought them from, such and such website. Take a picture, show us you still own them, that you didn't give them away as a gift or something. And if you do, give us 30 minutes of your time, we'll pay you $30. And the person can sit there at home like, yeah, these new Nikes are dope because blah, 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 blah. I really like this. And it's like, boom, they snap the video, they click send, and it goes off to the company. Now, again, there's companies that do this, but their big problem is the same thing. Does this person always buy Nikes? Was it given to them as a gift? Like, let's say it was like my father. If my father had a pair of Nikes, he didn't buy it. Someone bought them for him because he goes to Walmart. So
yeah.
It's exactly that thing where we're able to say, nope, Jared bought those shoes. He bought them 1 week ago. He's had enough time to test them out. They're still new, so they'll look nice in a video, right? They should look pretty decent. And you know what? He buys these type of shoes every 6 months. He's a perfect person for this study. We should have, and you know what? By the way, 5 months and 30 days or 29 days from now, we're going to ping Nike and say, you know what you should do? You should send him a coupon to buy directly from Nike.com to cut out all your middlemen. Yes, we should. So our idea is basically taking the companies that are already there looking for better decision making and pairing them directly with a user who's like, I'm willing to give up my data for money to make it so that you, the company, can target me in ways that I appreciate, bringing value, like we discussed.
Yeah.
And the user doesn't mind being targeted because it's not.
They're smart ads. They're the best ads that you would want. You'd be like, exactly like you said, just like, I mean, if they could figure out, hey, I'm like buying this amount of pair of Nikes, and just like on your phone right before you walk into the Nike store, it's like, hey, 50% off if you buy 2 shoes or more. It's like, well, shit, I was going to buy 1 shoe anyways. I'm going to buy another one in 6 months. I might as well just use this.
Exactly. So it's the idea that if we can pair the two, they work very well. And again, the user gets the benefit of a free $900 phone approximately, and they're earning the equivalent of approximately $60 an hour for anything that we target them for.
Yeah.
Approximately $1 per minute. It may fluctuate slightly, like if there's some surveys, they might get like 75 cents per minute or something like that. But generally speaking, across the board, we have it worked out pretty well that we can do it at approximately $1 per minute, which when you consider there's about 219 million Americans that make less than $60 an hour.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good opportunity for a side hustle.
I was going to say 90% of minimum wage jobs, like nobody, or 100% of minimum wage jobs, nobody's making that. A lot of blue collar jobs where you have years of experience as like an electrician, a freaking any other type of like skilled worker, like it's really tough to make $60 an hour. Is the dollar per minute based off the value of the data? Because think about it, like I would think Starbucks has more of a budget and they're more willing to spend on that data as opposed to, let's say, a smaller company that is just getting started. Is everybody still paying $1 a minute, or is it like, hey, like I don't need as much data. I only want like X, Y, and Z. Can I pay 50 cents a minute? How does that work?
Great question. So actually, the user themselves on the phone are getting paid $1 per minute. We as the company are obviously getting paid more because we're the middleman. We're brokering the whole thing. So ours is actually, think of like Facebook ads where somebody comes into the system and they say, I want to target 50 people that are going into, let's say, Times Square in the next hour. And every one of them must be a Coca-Cola drinker. And if they walk into Times Square and we know that they drink Coca-Cola from whatever past history we have to prove that, maybe it's pictures on their social, them with Coca-Cola, maybe it's, we've seen their purchase history from buying from Amazon or something, getting like 6-pack shipped to them. Maybe they bought in a store with their phone.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we can track and say, yep, this person drinks Coca-Cola, as they walk into Times Square, what happens is their phone would ping and they would essentially be told to do something, like maybe looking at a billboard in augmented reality and telling Coca-Cola some feedback in real time, like we like this, we don't like this, this looks great. So something like that would be where they're getting paid $1 per minute. But what Coca-Cola paid us is based on the idea of what they're paying for that survey or that action. So that completely fluctuates. So, I mean, that could be, anywhere from a couple cents more than what we're paying the user up to a couple dollars more. It all really depends on what the client is. And again, as you mentioned, it also depends on how much they're spending. So like if you have, a Starbucks, they're going to spend a lot more than your local mom and pop shop. But the idea with what we're doing is it can scale as small as you need, since it's sort of Facebook ads like, where it's like you want to spend $10 a day, you can do that. You want to spend $10 million a day, we love you. Fantastic. We're not going to, we kind of want this in a way where it can be done both for small and large corporations and everyone in between. So that's kind of the idea. And the $1 per minute is, again, just for the user. So they have sort of a consistent rate and they know, like, oh, if this takes me 10 minutes, it's $10.
Yeah.
If this is a 15-minute project, I get $15. If it's an hour-long project, I get $60. An hour-long project might be like a focus group, something like that, where you're like in a digital focus group.
You watch a full webinar or something.
Yeah, the other thing is we might end up driving people to physical locations, like to do certain market research studies you can't do on your phone, which of course would be completely separate in the idea of how they're getting paid. They would get paid from the company, but then we would get paid basically on lead gen. So there's different ways as well that we will use the phone to essentially make the users money. And by doing so, I think that alone makes the phone super unique because from all the phones I know of now, they take your money.
Right. You pay to use the phone. And it's an asset of your life. Without a phone, you feel debilitated. I don't know how to use a regular map. I don't know how to get from point A to point B unless I've been there multiple times. So it's like you are not the same without a phone. And it's interesting. I love the idea of having those focus groups and having individuals being like, hey, like, I love this. The Coca-Cola was awesome. Like, I love the new bottle design, all that stuff. Because talk about the best source of user-generated content on a daily basis. Content marketing content. Like, you guys don't have to make anything anymore. You're just going to pay the people that actually use your stuff that could even be influencers in their realm to start promoting your products via directly from their phone. So now you're getting, like, more trusted content for your audience, because they're seeing these people that they actually know, they love, and they're starting to connect with them on a more personable level because you're able to use that content in your plan. So I love that idea. I would love to just be able to give out phones to people and just be like, hey, like, snap a picture with my mask and I'll send you $20 and give you a free liner, because the picture of you is going to bring me more value and more income long term than just paying you $20 to take the pic real quick.
Yep. No, absolutely. And it becomes sort of a facilitated market, like you mentioned, between these brands directly to the consumers that matter most to them. And especially on the idea of even in the times that make the most sense for both of them. Because there are obviously certain things that, like we mentioned, if someone's walking through Times Square, they may not be there for more than a couple minutes. But that might be something that needs to be done right now. But there's other opportunities that will come that it's like, hey, you can, again, the Nike example, you can do that at home on your couch. Like, we might say we need this in the next 48 hours. So you got 2 days. Okay, cool. You can squeeze in your schedule, which I'm assuming a lot of these people could do,
yeah,
because they would look at it like it's a money opportunity. and I don't got to get in my car and drive and pick up random people for it, like Uber. I can just turn on my phone and be like, let me grab those pair of Nikes and do this quick 15-minute, 20-minute review and make $20, $15, whatever it is. So with regards to this, it kind of is a model that transcends a lot of industries and allows us to work with all different brands and industries, and also allows us, one second, I'm getting a beeping on something here.
No, you're good.
Hold on. What do we got? So many windows open. Okay, it went away. Okay, so, and that's kind of the idea. So the two main problems we're looking to solve is basically budget waste in the market research, marketing, and advertising sector, because obviously being in that realm, like, I understand it. I've sat with people who have told me, like, I think one lady I met who worked with Coca-Cola, since they've come up a couple times in the conversation, is every year on marketing, they'll waste something like $300 million.
God damn. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just, and again, it's not like they plan to waste it.
They just bad marketing schemes.
Yeah, so they just have it built into the budget that it's like, no matter how much we spend, there's going to be a couple $100 million that just don't work. So while we can't obviously solve that for everybody at every turn, because for instance, I can't help you with your billboards day one, but it becomes, if I can help you with your market research first,
yeah,
I can help build products and come up with new products that work better with people. So then your marketing is also better to them and help you with direct marketing. So then we can slowly say, look, I can't help you with that $300 million gap, but if you defer 10 million of it to us, that 10 million will definitely not get wasted. That we can guarantee. And then slowly as we scale, there becomes more and more companies looking at this like, how much money can I put into your model? Because your model basically guarantees a higher ROI than any other model that's out there.
And the biggest thing right now is data. That's what everybody is in search for. They want real-time data. They want it as in-depth as possible. Because just like you said, if you want to do product prediction for the future, you want to know what the up-and-coming trends are for your target audience, all you have to do is look at the metrics of where they visit, where they spend the most time, and even what they're possibly searching on Google and all those keywords. And a lot of that data is just, it's all spread out throughout multiple networks, but being able to consolidate that into one device and having I'm assuming company just go on a back end like Facebook Ads Manager and just be like, oh, let me look at my target audience. Let me see what the most top trending keyword is for the month of November. And you could obviously see, oh, like Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Oh, but that's weird. Why is everyone Googling banana bread pudding right now? It's like, oh, I should probably, put out a product that helps facilitate that, or that might be just a random viral trend that popped up on a social media platform that I should take knowledge of. The data is where the entire advertising income is going to start going, and there's going to be a lot of data privacy acts, I think, in the future. But for right now, it's kind of like a little bit of the wild, wild west. And if you can aggregate as much data and create a system for aggregating data, that's it right there. That's the $1 trillion billion idea, man.
I mean, and you know what? The idea is on the other side for the user. As I said, the other problem we solve really is data transparency, and the idea of being sort of the antithesis to Google and Facebook, where they're like, here, try our products. Cool. You like Google search? Keep using it. You like Facebook? Keep using it. And of course, now more and more people are understanding how their data is being used.
Yeah.
Even though still millions and millions do not know, there are more and more that understand they're the product. They're being monetized. But with us being very forthright, and our idea is to be sort of like the people's version for data, where it's like, look, if you're going to give your data up anyway, which if you own a phone, you are.
Yeah.
You might as well give it to someone who's going to show you who's using your data, monetizes it for you, and therefore you have a transparency with us. So this way, the person's able to say, all right, well, they're still taking my data, just like before, but now I get money. 2, I get to scroll through like a ticker, like Wall Street type thing, and say, oh, these are the companies that access my data or could access my data. And then once a month, we just give them like a quick breakdown of like, this is how your data was potentially used. This is why you made money. There you go. So the user now has full transparency, which goes, it's funny you mentioned the laws, is that there are so many different data laws that are coming up.
Yeah.
Our model, for the most part, makes it so almost any of these laws that are passed, we almost completely bypass them.
It wouldn't even matter.
It's a complete transparent system telling them up front,
Mm-hmm.
like, look, if you take my phone, you are giving us all the data, but you're doing it in return for something and in full cognizance of this is our terms and agreement. So while there are some laws in some countries, because there's about 2 or 3 countries we found that probably would not like our model.
Yeah.
They're small, so who cares? The general countries that exist that we would want to be in, it seems to be that we would almost be setting a new standard for data transparency. That if it's done, it's like, yeah, we're aggregating more data than anyone else, which a lot of people would say, oh, that seems like sketchy, that you have all this data, you have so much power. But if we're being transparent with the user about it, then it's basically on them making a really understanding and sober decision to say, I want to give you my data because you're giving me something for it, rather than just I'm giving it up anyway. I might as well have you sort of interject yourselves in the middle and make sure that I can see some part of who's using it and give me some money for it.
Yeah, and I would think it would be absolutely incredible to have like an Instagram analytics dashboard where it's like, of this pie chart, Coca-Cola targeted you 25%, Walmart targeted you 10%, and you can see kind of essentially big brand names, how much they spent on you, and I feel like you should be able to be like, listen, like, I'm kind of tired of Nike sending me stuff. I don't really buy Nikes anymore. I switched to Adidas. I'm going to click this checkbox that says I don't want to receive advertisements from Nike anymore. So it's almost like you're creating your own personal filter for ads, and you absolutely understand what's being sent to you, what's being broken down, and the overall amount of income that people are spending on you, and at the same time that you're receiving. So I think that would be absolutely incredible.
That's the goal. We would like to do that because we do think that that's, those are with the data sort of coming to a head sometime soon with all of it being everywhere. Transparency is going to be the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
People are going to want to have companies that kind of tell them ahead of time, like, look, this is what we're doing. Because as we said in the beginning of this conversation, this is almost like an honesty and an integrity thing. Like, if we can tell the people ahead of time, like, look, we're taking all your data for the most part. Again, there's certain things legally we won't touch. Like, we're not going to know your credit card numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, Social Security, all that.
We might know what credit cards you hold. Like, we'll know you have a Visa, and we know you use that Visa on Amazon, but we don't know the number. We don't know how much is in your bank account, stuff like. There's obviously legal things we won't touch.
Yeah.
But generally, to tell them, like, yeah, we're going to take most of your data, but this is what we're giving you in return for it, and this is what we're going to do with it, is a whole different sort of avenue than, like, I mean, as we said, there's still people who use Facebook that are like, I don't know how they target me for these ads.
Right?
Dude, it's because everything on it is being tracked. But they didn't tell anybody. It's in their terms of service buried somewhere. Whereas ours, yes, it'll be in our terms and agreement. We have to put it there for legal purposes. But we're also going to almost make it part of like our marketing and education process to tell people, like, you own a phone, you're already giving up your data. You might as well give it to us, and this is what we'll give you for it.
Yeah.
So then it becomes like, oh, well, if I don't have a choice, I'm going to give up data anyway. It's like, well, then your choice is, do you want to give it up for free or for money?
Right. You want to get paid or not?
And, I think I'm going to go with the idea. I think most of the public on that one
wants to get paid.
It's going to say, if my only two options are to give it up for nothing or to give it up for something, I'm going to take the something, whether it's money or points or something. But we're actually giving money. And again, they're being targeted for things that matter. Like, they're getting coupons on the stuff they love. They're getting discounts on these things.
Oh, a point system. A point system might be like a really good idea. A point system might be like super interesting because you could pay out in like actual income and stuff, but with the respect that if you're able to solidify that ad targeting super like hyper niche where it's like super personalized, being able to establish like credit points or Eyefuel PR points that you can cash in at these specific locations or like even like buy products from these actual brands that are on the platform. You're just using, PR points. Man, the point game is what everybody goes for. That's how like credit cards get people hooked on it. Like, I know the only reason I have an Amazon Visa is to get points so I can buy stuff on Amazon. That's the only reason. Because I want to get paid for spending money on a platform that I know I'm going to spend money on.
So what's interesting is we probably are going to have some point system things that are involved, but it's going to be more for like bonuses and like other extra things.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we're actually sticking to the money value is because we believe, first of all, two things. We believe that when you look at the sort of rise of Airbnb and Uber and a lot of these other sort of side hustle type of DoorDashes, et cetera, companies, the public is very much looking for side hustles at this point.
Yeah.
So therefore, money is the quickest sort of transition to like, you do this for me, I give you money. Okay, cool. You drive a car for Uber, you can get money. So in that way, we fill the side hustle niche, which is becoming bigger and bigger. But another thing, and this goes into sort of the psychology of timing, which if anyone who is watching this wants to do an interesting study on when you're going to launch a company, timing is the number one reason businesses succeed or fail.
100%.
There's been a lot of studies on this, and it almost equates to 60% of why a company will win or not. And again, win not being like the infinite game win, but succeeding, just not going out of business.
Yeah.
So with regards to this, there is, especially in this country, an upcoming recession. It's definitely
100%. It's coming. We've been up for so long.
Yeah, we're way up. So here's the thing. By the time I'm launching a phone that says, don't spend money, make money, if people are looking for ways to make money, they're much quicker to say, you know what, I really like my Samsung, but not enough to keep it.
But it ain't recession proof.
Yeah, this phone here is going to help me right now. And once they see that it's a quality phone, it's Android based, it's similar to what they already use, except instead of paying, it pays them. I think that at that point we will have captured a lot of people's sort of hearts and minds to be like, look, I'm sold. Like, the phone is dope. It does some cooler features than even the phone I have. It's free. It makes me money. And especially for like me, I have a 4-year-old, but I've met a lot of people that, they have, like, let's say teenage sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they might make $300,000 a year, and they themselves are not my demographic. But as soon as I tell them what I'm doing, they're like, so if I gave my son and my daughter your phone, you would pay them to keep it rather than me pay you for them to keep it. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, when the phone is ready, let me know. I want some for my teenage sons and daughters. And I'm like, this is great, because while they themselves may not be running around with thousands of dollars in their pockets, their data is still monetizable.
It's valuable
to me. And no matter what, that person can still be targeted for things that they can like make money off or buy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or on top of that, there's also the idea that that same gentleman who now just saved, let's say, $1,800 minimum between those two phones, is a lot more susceptible if his son or daughter says, Dad, this thing, I love it. I've been looking at it for months. They just marketed it to me. It's 25% off. And the guy says, you know what? I just saved $1,800.
Exactly.
I can buy that for you. So the phone itself has so many different uses for different people with different backgrounds. And I think we will find, a lot of like the college generation, people who are in college specifically, will see this as a way to make extra money. And again, the people who have the sons and daughters that are in college will look at this as, wow, one less expense for me. So there is kind of a large portion to our timing with the launch of 5G, sort of the combination of what's going on with AI, big data,
Mm-hmm.
Mobile, and edge computing, and then of course, as I said, timing as well with the recession.
Yeah, and that's also interesting in the respect that I feel like people are getting younger and younger, and they're starting side hustles earlier and earlier. So giving them a way to, because when you're 12, you can't get a job other than what I did: shovel driveways, rake yards, and walk dogs. That's the only way you're making an income, and it's like nuts and bolts. You're not making a ton, but being able to be given a phone. I can start a social media career on the phone. I get paid for watching advertisements. I save money because everything is targeted to me in value-based ads where, I'm getting 50, 20, 30% off the product that I was already going to buy. It just becomes a machine that the younger generation can utilize to, jumpstart their career or even figure out how this whole marketing and social media realm even works and why they should be kind of implementing themselves into it. I'm super excited for this phone to come out. I'm ecstatic, and I definitely want to see this thing just absolutely blow up.
We are too. We've been putting together quite a big team. And again, it's been years in the making, so we're working on it as fast as possible. And you kind of touched on a quick subject too that I'll give a minute or two, is the idea that if we can kind of make the phone a way that can help people, not just money, because money's great, right? We've been discussing how the phone makes the money, saves the money, and no one will deny. Like, no one's going to be like, I don't want to save money. I don't want to make money. Like, I haven't met that person yet. But there's also the idea that if you have this phone and you have this hardware and you have people who, as you just mentioned, let's say are coming up with you for a generation or two, specifically, let's say they've got your phone and They've had it for 2 years. So let's say they turned it in, they got a new one. They turned it in, they got it. So they're like 3 years with us. Now they are starting to come into their own as like an older teenager. They're looking for sort of their way. We actually, because we're looking at everything they're doing, can start actually giving them information. So rather than, let's say, going to Google and searching, we could just say, hey, look, this person seems really interested in X. Why don't we send them some information on X from some of the experts in that field? We can probably aggregate it and send it to them. So it becomes sort of an education tool as well to help people grow in whatever they want to do. Now, again, that's not our business model, but
it's another value-oriented aspect.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the model that will bring a lot of value to people in a way where, once again, they kind of look at this and say, I can't believe I ever paid for a phone. This phone pays me. It's helping me. I mean, it's like, it's so focused on who I am. It's actually, too, what we're kind of look at is there's smartphones, but you can get smartphones that are $40.
Yeah.
You can get smartphones that are $1,400, depending on what it is and where. We're making a smarter phone. The phone knows you in a way that it becomes an extension of who you are.
100%.
You basically are saying, this phone is like my sidekick, even though I know there was a sidekick phone way back when. But this is like a real one where it literally is kind of, to a degree, looking out for your best interests rather than, again, give me some money and use the phone how you want. Great, you're going to do that anyway. But then the phone starts saying, oh, this is what you want. This is what you're looking to do. Let me help you with that. So we are looking to facilitate a lot of education into this, also because I'm a big fan of disrupting the college system, just because I don't really like college.
Anti-college.
I'm like, you know what? I see so many friends that have gone, and it's like, they don't have jobs in their field. They're in debt. I'm like,
why'd you do it?
Yeah, I'm like, man, like, you should have surveyed the economics on your industry before you went in, which, to be fair, is partially their fault. But a lot of that, too, is just...
We're too young to know how to do that when we're 18 applying for colleges.
But that's the whole thing, and they know that. So it's like, oh, yeah, they're just going to come in, take this debt, and then, they're going to deal with it.
And then it's not my problem.
Right. And then beyond that fact is the idea that, as far as I'm concerned at this point, I don't even think college could keep up with... Like, you can't go to school to learn something for 4 years that was printed in a book probably a couple years before you even got there. So by the time you're out, you've learned information that's like
outdated.
You can't do that nowadays. I mean, as you and I know, Instagram updates daily, right?
Yep.
So imagine if you go to school for, like, digital marketing. To me, I would laugh. I'd be like, what do you mean you went to school for digital marketing?
They'd probably be introducing MySpace in chapter 1. They'd be like, so this is MySpace. This is what it was. It's like, all right, that's cool. But what's happening right now? It's like, well, we don't really know. But give us a couple years. We'll write a couple case studies, and then you'll know.
Yeah, like, oh, when you're out of school, we'll send some of that to you for, like, a fee or something. Like, and it's so weird because you'll see more and more of these big companies, they're not requiring college degrees anymore. They're just kind of like... They
want experience.
Can you provide results? Can you bring value to our company? If so, what type of value? And, okay, great. And I've seen, again, a lot of my mentors as well, they're the same. They're like, dude, I almost don't even ask for people to go to school anymore, unless it's like a super, super technical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, let's say, for instance, in my phone company, I'll give you a great example, like my CTO, Thomas, he specifically went to school for engineering, which is a good thing because he can literally build a phone.
Yeah.
He literally won't, because he can put together a team that will put every little thing together and oversee the whole project. But I know that he's not going to be like, oh, here's an expert in the field, and the guy's really not. He's going to know because he can engineer himself.
Yeah.
So there are certain facets that college serves a great purpose for, but I would say the majority of courses now, if it's not something where you're literally building something, or like nursing, or something where you're like working on, there's so many things. Like, someone could say, oh, I went to school for business. You could Google everything about business.
Right.
You can start a business and fail.
Right. But you don't even have to go to college to start and fail. And you learn more from starting and failing than you do from just sitting there reading the book, just being like, yeah, give me the test. I'm ready. Like, I'm just doing this for the grade. I don't really care.
Yeah, so we have like a little passion thing with ours. Is like, I wonder how much we can disrupt the education system with our model long term, which we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get this in Gary Vee's hands someday. I know he's all big about everyone monetizing their personal brand. And we're basically like, dude, we're going to help them monetize their personal brand 24/7. And, of course, I know him and many others, they don't speak too highly of college either.
Nah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, dudes, if we help people monetize their brand, which you guys all like, and we help them to learn in a non-university setting for much cheaper cost, if not even free, which you big influencers who hate college so much want to jump on board, I think a couple of them we could get their ear. We'll just have to we'll see if it's a year 1 or year 2 thing where we slowly integrate them into the system and say, all right, guys, now go activate 10 million followers and see how many of them want this phone.
Right.
We'll pay you. Because the one thing with the phone model, too, is we're integrating an affiliate system so that every person who signs up under an affiliate link of the person, they'll get a cut of the percentage of everything we pay that person on that phone for the life of the phone.
Damn. So not only as an influencer am I making money by utilizing this phone, not only am I able to establish a social network on this phone, what I also think is super interesting is like Gary Vee has been moving to text more and more. But with your phone, you have social media and text all in one. So now I'm creating smaller personalized groups in my actual text message DMs as opposed to my social DMs. And now every time I bring on a new person, I start accruing more tail-end commission from that. I mean, good night. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want.
We hope it works in that way. We've seen the affiliate model works. I mean, I know you guys know the affiliate model works. It's just, I mean, imagine if you're out to eat and you're with your friends and you're like, guys, don't worry about the meal. My phone got it.
Right.
The table says, what? Be like, yeah, I got to answer this thing real quick. It's going to take me 10 minutes, but, my phone's paying for this meal.
But we'll get a free meal.
Whatever. And everyone looks at you and says, what type of phone is that? Well, here, I'm going to send you the link real quick. You guys can check it out. And the other thing is we're probably going to work on an Android app that's not, like it'll be sort of a light version. So like if you're locked into a contract and your friend's got the phone, you can always download the light version of our app and sort of get a feel for what it does.
Yeah.
And start earning some money. So then you can kind of get your toes wet. So then when your contract's up, you can be like, all right, I need that phone now.
Right.
So we are really pushing heavy for the affiliate model. There's other things I can't go into today. We'll just say we're going to be helping people monetize their social in new ways. There's a lot of different angles that this can take. So it's a huge project, but it's my passion one. And I don't even know. Every time I get more people involved that are around the world, different big players, it's starting to come to the point where
they throw gasoline on the fire for you. You get fired up after the meeting. You're like, woo, let's go, baby.
Yeah, and it's like, to put something this big together, it has really been like when I first started, it was like, oh, I'm just going to do these things and it's going to happen. And then it was like 3 years later, I'm like, it doesn't work like that. This is huge. It's very, very big. There's a lot of sort of pieces you need in line. I mean, we started getting a lot of serious like telecom partners. We started getting some people who are involved like just in software design that can help us cut costs in that way because they can do some of the design and development themselves. Started bringing in new team members that are good with like structuring, mergers and acquisitions, all the things that we're going to need with this type of a company that, someone by themselves just can't do.
It's just too many moving parts.
Yeah, impossible. Like solopreneurship is not the dream. Solopreneurship is cool when you're younger, but then at some point you're like, yo, I need employees, I need people,
you got to scale it. It's not scalable with a one-person shop.
No, you can't. And you only get so many hours in a day, right? So it's like you need to multiply those hours with other people that share the same vision and dream as you do.
100%.
Absolutely.
Honestly, that was a hell of a good podcast, man. I had a fantastic time, and I thank you for sharing all your details with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm at the point where I don't think too many people are stealing this idea, so I'm open to share it and try and get the word out there more. And it's been interesting where people have come from that have plugged in and said, hey, I would love to be involved. So who knows?
If for anybody watching, how do I get in contact with you to learn more about this phone? Is there a manual? Is there somewhere where I can start sending like a small investment? How do I get in contact with you or the website or page that this is going to be branched off of?
So that's a great and interesting question. And the reason why it's interesting is because we really don't have a website. Because even though I have no problem sharing it verbally, we've kind of kept it off of Google's index for the most part.
Smart.
So what someone could do is they could email me at jared.puretech, puretech@gmail.com. I could obviously shoot over details. If they were interested in investing, we do have obviously pitch decks. We have financial models, pretty much everything that you would need to see and a heck of a lot more. So we do have that, and we are still looking to take on investment. We're probably only looking for about 150K at this point. So there's opportunities left if someone wanted to come in for like 25 or 50K or things like that. So they don't have to be like, multi-millionaire.
Is there a minimum? Is there a minimum amount of investment? Like, say I was a small entrepreneur and I only got like $2,000-$3,000. Can I still make a $2,000-$3,000 investment?
No, we can't take it by itself, but this is what we could do. We could always send someone a joint venture agreement, and if they were to get like 5 or 6 friends and they all wanted to go in for like 20K or 25K, then we could do it. We really don't want to go too much under that because we end up in the realm of dealing with a lot of things about unaccredited investors. If they can put it in a JV, it's a little easier because we're taking the investment from a company rather than from people. So then some of those laws change. So for instance, like let's say, just using you as like an example.
Yeah.
If you told me like your net worth was only like $75,000 and you wanted to invest 5K in my company, there's a lot of issues that come into play with us taking $5,000 from you because even though the government can give a crap about us, they act like they do because they think, oh, well, you could be taking advantage of this person who doesn't know how to invest their money.
Got you.
Nice for the government to step in at those random weird things, right?
Right.
Technically, that's why it's structured that way. So what we would have to do is say, all right, if you want to do that, you get like 5 friends and each of you put in 5 and now you have 25, put it in a joint venture. We might even be able to help them incorporate the company, whatever they need to do. And now we can take the investment from the joint venture rather than from the person directly.
Okay. So it kind of moves it from like a sole proprietorship to like an LLC kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
An LLC would be a perfect idea. That's usually great for like joint ventures for something of this nature.
Awesome. Well, all right. I don't want to keep you anymore. I appreciate you coming on, brother. I definitely am going to bring you on some more for updates about this phone. I want to learn more about it. I want to get the people out there to see the progress of it, and we can talk about like marketing schemes and all that. But other than that, I think I'm good.
Awesome. So here, this is before we jump off, this is one of the prototypes. I think I sent you, but
I've only seen a couple pictures. Yeah.
Let me see here. So this is a prototype. Again, we're working on another model. This is not the one that will come out, but this is a prototype that we have worked on, and it should turn on momentarily.
And it's got the thumbprint on the back. Is that what you're using with your finger?
Yeah, this is the thumbprint sensor. So this is
no buttons. Yeah, I'm not a button guy. Once we move past the buttons.
Here, power up and down. But otherwise, I mean, yeah. So people can see the phone. We have one done. We're working on the next, which is the beta. And then after the beta, we're working on the final model. The beta is going to only be used for testing, so most people will never see it because it won't really come out to the general public.
Yeah.
It's only going to be used to sort of validate the model.
Is the beta testing done with the investors, or you're just going to pull a random sample and just be like, here you go?
Well, actually, we have partnered with a company that's going to pay for some of the phones.
Oh, well, there you go. Shit.
And what's going to happen is we're basically going to give them direct access to those consumers for pretty much whatever they would like. So the user's going to get a free phone, and then they have direct access to them. So there's kind of like a good way for testing it, and this is actually driving physical people into stores. So by doing so, in some ways, we're immediately demonstrating that we're on par with like Facebook ads or anything like that to be able to drive physical traffic, but in a much more geolocated way. Like I know Facebook, they're pretty good with their geolocation, and like, we can target foot traffic, but that's definitely not where they make the bulk of their money, right? Facebook makes the bulk of their money from like digital ads and like people going to e-commerce and stuff like that.
Yeah, Facebook Shop, etc.
Yeah, so we're like, we want to demonstrate that because of the nature of our model, and I think you brought it up before, is the idea that you could literally be walking by or into a store and you're getting like hit with something that's like, hey, if you're already here, it looks like you need this too because we saw you haven't ordered this in 3 months and you seem to order it every 3 months, which we don't give them all the details, but immediately it's like, boom, and the person, oh yeah, I do need that. Oh, here's a coupon for it. Might as well get it today. So
then it's like, thanks for reminding me, thanks for the discount, and now you win on 2 fronts.
Yeah, so exactly, so the person gets that continual like, wow, my phone rocks, and we're like, we're happy, they're spending, but they're spending it in a way that made sense. It wasn't like just buy this random nonsense. It's like, dude, you buy this every 3 months approximately. It's about to be 3 months. You don't have it. Here's a coupon. You save money to get what you were already going to get. So we really are trying to make it as much as possible to kind of maximize the ROI for the brands on what they spend to the user, but also maximize the user's money and not just get them to buy crap. Like, just, it's like, hey, this is who you are. This is what you buy. This is what you like. And as you said, if they change their habits, then we slowly change with them. Oh, you know what? They don't seem to buy there anymore. This person, they used to buy Toyotas. Looks like they just bought a Lexus. Oh, yeah, they got a huge, bonus. They just, they moved up. Maybe they got a raise. So we're able to monetize their data. And the best part with our model, too, so people understand, is someone might say, well, I make $75 an hour. So $60 an hour really doesn't help me. Fantastic. If you make $75 an hour, your data's worth more. I can pay you more. If you make $100 an hour, your data's worth more. I can pay you more.
Because you're a higher net worth individual.
Absolutely. Because, again, we don't sell you Toyotas. Now we sell you Lexuses. So
yeah.
Lexus is going to pay more for your data. I can give you more for your data. So if someone makes $120 an hour, to give an apples-to-apples comparison, instead of $1 per minute, I can give you $2 a minute.
Are you going to break down people based off like income level or like tax bracket, kind of how like we already do taxes in the U.S. at least? You just be like, listen, like $100,000, $200,000 range people, they have a higher likelihood of buying X products, so we're going to pay them $1.20 as opposed to $1.
That's basically what it's going to be. Is the data value will be scaled on how much you earn to a degree, but we won't have it really go ever under $1 per minute.
Okay.
That's our lowest sort of number. And that's really because, again, we see this as, it makes it a great opportunity for someone. If someone has a job and they're making $25 an hour, even if I only can target them 1 hour a month, that's a great hour of work for that person.
100%. It's worth 2 hours of work at their job.
Right. On the other hand, if they're targeted for 10 hours of work in a month, they're freaking ecstatic. They're like, okay, when's my phone going to send me another opportunity? So it's kind of that idea that number is our bare minimum. That it also works well, I think, in terms of being transparent with the user. That like $60 an hour, if you're going to do a mystery shop, you might not make 60. You might make like 30 or 40. If you're going to do a focus group or some certain consumer studies, you might make 60 to 100 an hour. It's possible. I know people who do focus groups that make $100 for an hour, but you usually got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we're not going to give you the 100, we're going to give you the 60, but you can do it from the comfort of your home. So it kind of keeps it so it's also a fair market value for what they're giving us.
Yeah.
If we go too much lower, in my opinion, it just wouldn't be, like, if I was the person, I'd probably take the phone anyway. But as far as like the work, it would be kind of like, I could find focus groups online that'll pay me more.
Yeah.
And you could. But if I'm telling you, hey, yeah, but you got to travel for that one. This one's going to come right to you. And you can do it, at home in your pajamas. All of a sudden, it's like $60 for that hour sounds pretty friggin' good because.
And to be honest, you didn't even have to go search for the focus group either. It came to you.
Exactly. So we're saving them time. So when you think of that number as being our bare minimum, most of what we're conveying to the user is probably like $60 an hour is probably a really, really fair price for us to give them.
Yeah.
But as I said, we can always scale up. So if someone makes more, it's like, hey, you got a raise, you start spending more money. We're able to start seeing that and say, hey, look, you know what? They stopped shopping at Walmart and now they're shopping at like Macy's. I don't know. Okay, so it looks like based upon this, we're able to target them with higher end products, which means we can make more money on that, which means we can give you more money for that. So our model scales with the person as well, which is another reason why for us, on a low-key selfish note, is we want to educate the user because you know what? If you make more money, we can make more money off your data and pay you more money for your data.
Yeah, it's a win-win. We're not going to lie to you. We know that you're going to spend more money because you have more of a disposable income. So let us help you spend it in a smarter way and let us help accumulate some income in doing that at the same time.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's our spiel in a nutshell, and we're coming soon. We're working hard to get it done.
Pure Tech Vision coming at you.
Absolutely. Pure Technology. Although, to be fair, a lot of people probably won't even know that name because that's kind of alphabet for us. It's like the company behind the company.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We don't have the name for the phone yet or any of that. That's all being worked out with the genius branding company we'll hire when we do. That won't be on me. That'll be me saying that's dope or not, but it won't be.
Right. Dang. I'm excited. I thank you again for coming on, brother. And I got to run and jump and do some stuff, but I'll probably get this video edited up and it'll probably launch on, I'm going to try and do it, I think, this Wednesday or maybe on a Thursday. I'm trying to figure out which day I want to start launching podcasts. Because I already do Tuesday every day for the YouTubes, but I'm thinking Wednesday or Thursday for this.
That sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it. I thank you for having me on. I appreciate the time and listening to the long-winded explanation of what pure technology is.
Hey, you're all good.
Not the easiest model to explain in a nutshell, unless you're going for like the 60-second version, and then someone's like, so it sounds like there's data, there's phones, and there's money. Okay.
Data plus phone equal money. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, that's kind of it. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the end result. I'll share it around to some of the team. I'm sure they'll be happy to see it. And yeah, man, let's make it happen. I'll let you know about the Facebook stuff too, because I think there's a couple of those coming soon.
Yes, please do.
Awesome. We might have to have a more in-depth discussion about that in the near future, because I think that we might have something happening more full-time with that.
Yeah, let me know, bro. I'm always open.
Awesome. All right, then.
All right, Jared. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, likewise. Have a good one, man.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Such a cool guy.